Hey, greetings everyone, Cameron here. Just want to come at you and talk to you about the 1982 film, The King of Comedy, starring Robert De Niro and Jerry Lewis, directed by Martin Scorsese. Now, this is a black comedy that's all about celebrity stalking. Now, today, we see that kind of stuff all the time on TMZ and reading in newspapers. We have a constant barrage of celebrity news coming at us. So they're being followed all the time by reporters who are just trying to make a living, as well as just crazy fans who are just trying to get a little bit too close. At the time this was made, it was something that I think went on. I mean, I think your celebrities knew about it. They were careful to watch their backs and things like that, but it wasn't something you read about in the newspaper so much, other than as publicity, where the old studios would basically write stuff up about, fans mobbing people in the way like the Beatles were mobbed and so forth. They used that to actually, publicize the product, where at this point it kind of became dangerous. Sarah Bernhard also is in this movie, and she is amazing, and as far as just playing just a lunatic of a woman. I don't know, this is kind of put it in perspective. This is what Scorsese did right after he did Raging Bull, and though this is somewhat well received, I think it gets looked over a lot, because doing a just dark humor like this right after you've done something like Raging Bull, which I think a lot of people would argue is one of his finer films, I don't know, it just wasn't as well received. This was actually the last thing that him and De Niro did together for a little while. They had done like Mean Streets in New York, New York. They worked together pretty solid for about 10 years, and then after this he did After Hours, which took a couple years off because he was trying to do Last Temptation of Christ, things like that. You can read up more about that, I'm sure, if you do searches on basically Scorsese in the early 80s. You'll kind of get a feel for everything that he was trying to do back then. But Jerry Lewis in this, kind of a different thing too. Jerry Lewis, of course, had just hit after hit after hit. He was kind of not really a member of the Rat Pack, but of course with Dean Martin, he was kind of always right there within that. Made just a ton of comedies that made tons and tons of money. Of course, he's known for being really famous over in France and things like that. It was something really different from him. He kind of plays a Johnny Carson type character. It's all shot in New York. There's a really cool scene in the movie where there's like this bay of phone booths where Rupert Pupkin, which is played by De Niro, is waiting for a phone call from Jerry Lewis. But it's just weird because you'll never really see that again. It's like New York has changed so much. It's kind of weird because it looks like, to look at it, it still has that 1970s Scorsese kind of feel, but it's very much moving into the 1980s. So some of the views in it, it's pretty neat just to kind of say they captured that in time, I guess, But I don't know, definitely worth checking out. It's just something, kind of different from, I guess, the other stuff that they really did together. Where it's a comedy, there's a whole lot of just kind of strange, goings on. He's got a lot of, Rupert Pupkin wears all these just ridiculously colored outfits, and there's some of the times where he's like in his apartment where you don't know if it's like truly his apartment where he's listening to his mother talk to him in the other room, or if it's like kind of a pseudo dream sequence, because these apartments are decked out, they're amazing, and I just can't imagine anyone in New York who doesn't have a job, who's trying to be a stand-up comic, being able to afford that kind of stuff. But anyways, worth checking out. Again, this was something that I discussed with some people. There's a group over on Facebook right now that's kind of just going through, picking a movie every couple weeks and going through and watching it. It's been about 2 weeks ago since I watched this, and I had seen it before, but it had been a while. Just a really neat movie. Definitely worth checking out. It's not my favorite Scorsese thing. It's not my favorite De Niro thing, but it's a very good movie, and definitely worth picking up if you've never seen it. Again, like, I think it kind of gets looked over, and of course stuff like Gangs of New York, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, that's the kind of stuff that I think Scorsese is more known for these days. But he did a lot of great comedies. This is great. After Hours, I think, is simply amazing, which he did right after this. That is the ultimate like bad day movie, and I don't know if I've ever talked about that here or not. I feel like I have, but again, you can go through just about anything Scorsese. There is so much good stuff. His entire catalog, even the stuff that's not his best movies, have great scenes in them that are worth checking out. So anyways, that's pretty much the gist of it for King of Comedy. If you've seen this, I'd love to see you, do your own review of it, or leave me a comment below. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me if I totally, missed the point on something, or if there's something that you think I'm totally leaving out. Again, I don't like to give away tons of plot on this kind of stuff, or break it down, just because honestly, if you watch this, Scorsese is going to show it to you better than I can ever explain it to you, and that's what you should do. You should check it out if it's something you're interested in. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.